Hi, my name is Chet Kelly, and this is the parasitic video essay questions for my college microbiology class. Um, essentially, the the question said for us to draw the life cycle of the Plasmodium parasite. So that's what I did here. Here is a demonstration of the life cycle. It looks reversed on here, but I know it won't be once the video processes. But essentially, it asked us to, draw the life cycle and the disease that it causes and the symptoms and the type of hosts and stuff like that. So pretty much this is how it all begins. The Plasmodium parasite is transmitted through an Anopheles mosquito. That's a type of mosquito. It's transferred during a blood meal. So essentially, when a mosquito bites somebody, it can be transferred to a monkey as well, but also to humans. That's the main point here. Um, but what happens first is gametocytes. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Gametocytes. Um, there's male and female gametocytes. And they mate within the gut of the mosquito, and they form a parasite called a spirozoite or a spirozoite or a spirozoitis. These are very complicated words. Bear with me. I'm just now learning this. Um, but after that, the spirozoitis, it enters the bloodstream by the mosquito saliva. So like whenever it bites you, it enters the bloodstream that way. And the spirozoitis, they travel to the liver, and it develops into these little round organisms, and they burst, which releases merozoitis. Um, and the merozoitis then exits the liver. It starts to harm red blood cells. Um, they end up growing more and destroying more red blood cells. And over time, some of these merozoitis they develop back into gametocytes, which are ingested by a different mosquito, and then the cycle continues. So essentially, throughout all of this is happening, while this life cycle is happening, it's creating disease inside of the um, the intermediate hosts. So in this scenario, the intermediate host is the human, and the mosquito is the definitive host because that's where the reproduction of the parasite happens inside of the gut of the mosquito. Um, and during while all this is happening, it's causing a disease. And the disease that the Plasmodium parasite causes, and a lot of you, I'm sure you've heard of it, it's called malaria. It's been a really big problem in some, corners of the world, um, but it's easily treatable. It's very treatable and curable if it's treated and diagnosed in a timely manner. Um, but while the red blood cells are being destroyed by these merozoitis, um, they release a toxin, and that toxin causes chills, muscle pain, and fever, um, which is malaria. It eventually goes into malaria, and the malaria causes seizure, organ failure, and death. This is all if it's not treated, and there is a multitude of other things as well. It destroys multiple, or it attacks multiple body symptoms if it goes, untreated. Um, and eventually, it'll cause brain damage, seizures, organ failure, and death. So that's what makes malaria, sort of so dangerous. Um, but yeah, that is essentially the life cycle. So, you have the gametocytes. They mate inside of the mosquito, and they form a spirozoitis. The spirozoitis enters the bloodstream, that enters the liver, um, and they release, merozoitis after a while. And the merozoitis exits the liver, causes disease, causes a little chaos. And some of these, revert back to gametocytes, which when a mosquito bites the infected person, it becomes infected with the plasmodium, and the cycle continues, and that's pretty much how it spreads. So I will put this at the camera, one more time for you to be able to see, everything. You're welcome to pause and look at that. I tried, writing in the best handwriting that I could and tried to explain it the best that I could with arrows and stuff like that on the paper. But yeah, um, so this is, my submission for the Plasmodium life cycle, and I hope that it was somewhat informative. Uh, Thank you for watching, and yeah.